We're back in Stalker 2 for the patch 1.4 update. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So they've made some really interesting advancements and changes to the world of Stalker 2. It's a game that continues to evolve. I think there's something like over 700 bug fixes. It seems like every update they do, there's like several hundred, thousands of bug fixes. Anyways, this update is no different, but well, I mean, it is different in the sense that it like does more stuff, but it's no different in the sense that like they fixed a lot of things. They definitely fixed a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to their whole systems in regards to the a little bit more of the live a life system and everything like that. But yeah, anyway, so we're kind of talking about the updates today, going over what's changed and giving you context here. I don't even know what we're fighting. I'm assuming another faction that has guns? These guys are my friends? Okay, well the combat feels a lot more lively. I'll definitely say that. Holy, was not expecting this at all. So mutants now use corpse-eating animation if there are dead bodies nearby. That's right, the mutants will now eat things that are dead. There's now an alert thing if something is happening for the mutants. Improvements to human combat. Fix numerous bugs in regards to how the AI will use cover within the environment in order to protect themselves, as you can kind of see here perfectly showcased right at the beginning of the video. This is very, very convenient. And you can see how they now naturally kind of move within the environment and actually use cover to protect themselves against foes that are attacking. And then we're also seeing improvements to things such as the mutants themselves, just in regards to how they react within the environment and move around. Characters use trees as cover, as you saw our dead guy over there was doing prior. Improve flanking, pathfinding, and transition to close combat. Close combat has become tougher on veteran and stalker difficulties. Fix issues in communication and synchronization between the characters in the squad. Characters now communicate tactical actions and reactions more clearly in combat. Human characters throw grenades when they want to flush out a target, not in the cooldown. No, that's not good. This is not good at all. Wait, I think I was just supposed to... I'm using... I'm not using the heal thing, I'm using bandages. Well, that's terrifying. Squads now have a finite amount of grenades, depending on their rank and their abilities. Human characters are now able to attack mutants with melee. They use kick attacks against smaller mutants. Human characters can now kick players who are crouched. Fun! That's kind of cool. Human characters look around for a brief moment, searching for combat and foes before actually reacting to what's going on. What were we killing here? Oh, there's another private, okay. Interesting. I consume this? I think I will. Thank you, comrade. Humans are no longer able to snipe with shotguns. Oh, that's good. Increase the number of generic heads for NPC randomization. That means you'll see different faces instead of the same character over and over again. I mean, we're all wearing masks, basically, so... What was that sound? You know, honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better opening to this video, because it literally showcased the new combat features almost perfectly. Did you loot everything from this corpse? That's not cool. You know, like, I need items too, you know what I'm saying, guys? Ow! Guys, there's a, you know, this thing's here. It's more of a, I hate this place. So do I, man. So do I. Thanks for the help, guys. I guess they kind of came in, did their job, and then just left me to deal with that. That's great. New weapon stat for handling has been added to the game. Bird can now use telekinetic abilities to catch and throw grenades. Improved weapon stat display in inventory. Updated weapon stat bars and their calculation logic. Oh, looks like there's an enemy over there. I wonder if that's what triggers my teammates to come over here. Kind of wondering. Because I'm like, if I go into combat with this guy, I'm kind of wondering if my teammates will come back, or my squad pals will come back and attack. because like the AI is supposed to be a lot more responsive now for like a distance sort of battle. Are you a foe? I can't tell if you're a bad guy or not. Well, considering you just like shot me, I assume we're not pals. Not cool, man. Not cool at all. So they fixed erratic behavior of alive NPCs after attacking enemy layers, fixing the issue where AI NPCs didn't move after transitioning to offline, which means they kind of just got stuck, I guess. Fixing the issue where Flesh Mutant was hiding to ambush a player, improved mutant behavior during combat, they're more dynamic, they move through the environment, and they've improved pathing for NPCs in regards to restricted areas and movement around an environment, and helping kill NPCs when they kind of fall into a wounded state in water has been adjusted, which is kind of cool. Why are my rad levels still so high? Holy, I thought I had my anti-rad stuff going on here. Well, that sure doesn't help much with that. Just aim for NPCs that are in low cover. Fixed an issue with NPCs in regards to ambushing. Adjusted the cover setup for NPCs, the shooting range for NPCs, depending on the weapon they have. So those are all big improvements. Like it seems like this update to me was a lot more focused on combat and AI movement within the environment. Like we are getting these updates relatively quickly, and they are changing things relatively fast, which I think is fantastic, right? Like they've been doing some big improvements to this game over time. And it's kind of neat to see this all going on here. So wait, that fixed my hunger bar was, I like how it blinks your health thing. I don't know if you saw that, but on the bottom left, it actually blinked. So it would, like, try to get me to use a health pack. I think that's really cool. Yeah, that's actually really, really interesting, is that, like, just a small little menu encouragement to kind of tell you to, like, hey, heal yourself. Which I think is a nice touch, because, you know, beforehand there weren't many indicators. This is a really, like, this game is getting updated incredibly well. Seriously, like, they've been doing some absolutely fantastic improvements to this game. Where is the staircase? Here it is. I like to wander through the creepy buildings. You never know what you're going to find. So the RPM 74 has increased armor piercing value, increased RPG damage, increased concussion distance for RPG, added some silencers into stashes, added cores the possibility to upgrade to the Zeracon suit, fixed an issue where a player was able to install physical protection upgrades twice for the PSC 91 Falcon armor. What? Rebalanced stashes in the Zatan region, and improved regeneration of spawn of enemies after anomalies and everything like that. So, kind of cool. I think like one. There we go. Actually, are these shotgun shells? No, submachine gun. It definitely feels like the combat makes it a lot more lively. So they've done improvement for the performance optimization of light and shadows in multiple regions and locations. Improved LODs for grass, so that you can, you know, see grass and stuff over longer distances. Rad bar changes. A lot of the fixes are kind of, as far as optimization stuff, really comes down to if you're playing this on PC. In case you're wondering, so from like a console perspective, like obviously changing on LODs and stuff will make a difference, but it does seem like a lot of the fixes for this update are quite PC-centric, as far as things. And then there's like other fixes for like geometry issues, players getting stuck, save issues, save problems. There are dozens upon dozens of fixes for quests, which, I mean, if you're into, you know, well, if you had any prevention issues, they've kind of worked really hard to do more of that. How tall is this building? Holy. Oh, wow, we're at the top here. Yeah, it's funny, when I was younger, I always dreamed of games where you could have, like, oh, this place again? Somebody tell me what the code is, and hopefully I can remember it next time I come in here. Please. Thank you. Sorry, anyways. Yeah, when I was younger, I thought it would be really, really cool if someday we had, like, full buildings that you could go through and go on to all the different levels, but Never thought about all the walking up and down the stairs you would be doing in these types of games. Oh, well that's creepy. That's nice and creepy. Are you dead, ethereal creature? Okay, looks pretty dead to me, I think. Alright, let's move on. Nothing else is coming. So yeah, like I mentioned, there's tons of like bug fixes focused around story-based content. You know, quests not working, parts of quests not working. These are like pretty basic things that you would fix over time, and I mean that adds to all the previous updates where they were like fixing that sort of thing. So like, yeah, it's really coming together. I know some people have different issues with the A-Life system and stuff and how that was integrated into this game, which I think is fair, but they are definitely working on improving that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of praise there. It's hilarious because like we're doing this on, you know, the Xbox, but like the time this comes to PlayStation, it's going to be a pretty well put together version of the game. Let's put it that way. Almost feels like we're doing a bit of beta testing on Xbox. Wait, are these guys bad guys? Oh, they're like zombies, aren't they? This thing's not dying? That's terrifying. I don't appreciate this at all. So they've improved pathing for NPCs, minor polishment and improvement for scripted NPC animations. Human characters that turn on flashlights are now more illuminated and visible in the dark. Which is helpful, because a lot of the time you would see nothing. You would hear things, but you just wouldn't be able to see things. Oh, I see there's an enemy over there. Could barely tell. Improved facial animations and realism. Impact sounds for the bolts. Added a mission shelter in the dining room of the chemical place. Chemical factory. More emission shelters in different places, because I guess it was hard to find emission shelters for people, which I think is totally fair. And I'm just gonna grab these bandages. Probably need to eat this too. I'm like trying to keep my food levels up, right? Like you don't want too much so you get overweight, but you want enough stuff that you got things going. Improved the impact, like I said, and remove redundant blur effect on players' vitals. Huh. Added players' vitals stat panel in the trade menu. Added new death animations and sound effects for electricity, acid, bullet, and rat bites. It's about time the rat bats. Rat bats. It's about the time those rat bats have audio. Rat bats. God, that'd be terrifying. Aren't bats kind of like rats to a degree? Right? Anyways. That's sort of funny. That is actually pretty hilarious. So anyways, new death animations for rat bites and stuff like that, you know, in case the rats kill you. So they're adding more like technical features, that kind of stuff. Really big specific fixes they've done. They've fixed an issue where shooting at sausage props it produced. You just punch that guy out with a shotgun? That was cool. I mean, this guy's a bad guy, so we want to kill him, but that was pretty sweet, eh? So yeah, shooting at sausage props produced blood particles. That's been fixed, sadly, obviously. Everybody loved that ability. And fixed an issue where ducks could fly into the water after being shot at. So I guess they've removed the ability for ducks to flee into the water. Which, I mean, I don't know if I love that idea. The ducks aren't allowed to escape anymore into the water, but, you know, it is what it is. But these are, like, kind of the main things that they've fixed and or changed for this update for the game. So I would say definitely a lot of improvements. For me, a big one is the combat here is just obviously a lot better. From what I've noticed, like, just the way the NPCs react and move within the environment, I think is, like, a world of difference. gonna come down to personal thoughts. I mean, obviously, I do hope that there is more work on the, the live a life systems, because I know that is a big sticking point for some people, is they want the sort of systems that existed in the previous Stalker games. And I think that's pretty fair. At least I believe so, as far as like a community desires. But for me, the game itself has just improved absolutely leaps and bounds. Whoa. Over what I played at launch. Because if you watch my launch streams, they're very entertaining. I get pretty frustrated. There's a lot of things that could have been better, and I think a lot of those issues have been fixed quite a bit since with these updates. And I look here and just like, even compared to the last update where I went to this area and the NPCs were like kind of not doing anything or stuck in a spot, to me this is a monumental kind of improvement to the game, just in terms of like combat. Oh, this is not good. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. No, I'm okay. I did it. I survived. And just like, it seems like their coordination and stuff has improved a lot. Because yeah, even if you watched my previous update video, if you saw me go through this building, like the NPCs were just like bunched up standing there not doing anything. And now they at least seem to be, reacting, moving, doing stuff. And I think that's important from a combat perspective. It feels more natural to what's going on. They're definitely a lot more reactive to the situation, which just creates more, interesting and dynamic combat. Otherwise, you get a little bored about things, right? So I will say bravo to the team for their continued updates. And it's always a nice surprise when, new stuff pops up. And if you are a fan of the older Stalker games, I think I'm fine with saying it. I'm going to be checking out the updates to that pretty soon. So I would, if you want to see what that looks like, just keep an eye out on the channel and stuff, and be checking in, and I'll have some update video stuff for the upcoming Stalker, the original pack updates coming pretty soon. So that's, to me, I'm really, really excited about that, because they were a lot of fun to check out. They did really well on the channel, and I'm just looking forward to having an excuse to revisit those games, as to say. But I've been having a ton of fun continuously playing this game, talking about it, and showing it off here. I'm really quite floored by how interested people have been for Stalker content, if that makes sense. And I've been very, very happy to compile videos talking about this. Did I kill these guys last time I was here, or are these like new guys that were already dead when I got here? I'm really genuinely confused, because like, I remember clearing this building out, but no one can hide from me. Nope, this might be it. Oh, I don't feel so good. Good thing I got out of these health packs. These enemies, they actually put up a lot more of a fight now. Okay, this is like becoming problematic. Do I have like a grenade? That should take care of these guys, right? This combat is a lot more satisfying when the NPCs actually, like, do stuff. Nice. All right. Good, good, good. Yeah, no. So, quite happy with this update. I think you will be too, if you're, into the combat side of things. I don't know if it necessarily will fix all of the issues that some people have with the game, but I think this is a continued good start, good improvements. and I look forward to doing more Stalker stuff because obviously it's been incredibly well performing on the channel, and yeah, it's been a blast. Can't wait till it eventually reaches PlayStation 2 at some point, right?